Welcome to FourC Fitness, to FourC Life. Holy shit, Lisa. That was great.
That was crazy.
Sit tight. We're going to pour a glass.
Yes, pour a glass of a
Halloween champagne. You're not seeing double. It is March. We will be discussing February while we drink champagne from October.
A lot of different seasons here.
There is no time in COVID. Thank you. Lisa.
We purchased this bottle because we were supposed to meet up with a friend, I think.
Yes, we were. All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Story of us.
So grab your own beverage. Ready?
Okay.
Sit back and enjoy the story of us, part 1. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Lisa.
Cheers. Okay, fun fact.
Okay.
Actually pretty good.
All right, Halloween champagne.
I'm into you, Halloween champagne. I hope that y'all are drinking some champagne or something good now to join us. But what really prompted us to do this was we actually received a request to share about how we met, which led us to realize that it could be really fun to do an entire series where we drink champagne, which is not even like our main drink of choice.
No.
But it became a thing.
We thought it would be cute.
Yeah, to drink champagne and share about the story of us.
And it'll have to change to like Martinelli's.
Oh, yeah.
Cider.
Good point.
But anyhow, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Mm-hmm.
So now, between our fertility journey, right, and our life updates, we'll also be filming this series, and in sequential order.
Lisa loves that I wrote that on the teleprompter. Like, she literally was like, oh, in sequential order.
You know, because it makes perfect sense to, like, not jump around. I love you. I love you. Of course we go in sequential order. From 2001 until the present.
And we also figured what better time to start, because last month, as y'all are well aware, we celebrated 17 different anniversaries.
It's our anniversary!
You get an anniversary, and you get an anniversary. Here's a date in February, and here's another date in February.
Today was our first phone call 20 years ago.
And today was the moment I moved a hair from the side of your face and realized I loved you. Literally, what's wrong with us? I don't understand. So, we're starting pretty close to the month where it all began.
That's right.
Even though it is now March.
It's
because
March.
that's our life lately.
Yeah. So, beginning on the day we met, 20 years ago, February 11th, 2001.
So, as anyone who has heard this story, you know that Lisa tells this amazingly. So, I'm going to let her take it away. This is completely unscripted. So, we'll see where we go.
I'll see 45 minutes later.
Literally.
Okay, so let me begin with that fateful day.
Yes.
Okay.
Get ready. You have time to get another drink, I'm sure.
Okay, so my friend Caitlin had invited me to see the Rocky Horror Show revival on Broadway with her. She used to say to me all the time, you have to come hang out with me and Michelle and Sammy. And Sammy and I had already known one another and hung out a bunch of times. And but I never met Michelle. And I refused to meet Michelle after I had seen a photograph of her.
I was literally like, in a shirt that said Mish.
It said Mish. There was no mistaking exactly which one was Michelle. And the problem was that she exuded so much confidence and just like everything was extra in a good way in this photo I was like,
it was a good read.
I cannot.
It's a good read.
I can never meet this girl, and that's fine. Like, I'll be able to push this off for like a long time. And so
She said, no, no,
I
no,
said,
no.
And Caitlin was like, yes, 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 yes. And so I agreed to meet Caitlin to see the Rocky Horror Show. We were doing the student rush tickets that were $10.
20.
Whatever. On a Sunday, for a Sunday matinee. And I meet up with her, and we're in the lobby of the Circle in the Square Theater. And she had another friend with her. We won't go into that. But
we didn't really know
we're
her.
just like chilling out, right? And there I was with like my jeans and like that like a long cape sweater thing that you wore in like the early 2000s.
She looked really cute.
And I had bangs and
I didn't know what you were gonna say.
glasses. And I had no makeup on, maybe
You
some
have
mascara. I was not out of the closet. But Michelle comes. All of a sudden, I see this being walking towards the theater. Now it's a Sunday, early morning.
It was early.
It was early morning
Yeah.
on a Sunday in Manhattan. If you know that, there's nobody around, so you couldn't miss her.
Could you ever?
You could not miss Michelle walking up to the theater with her hair all done and leather jacket and her makeup all done.
It was 2001, y'all, and I still wore dark lipstick.
Yeah.
Always with the dark lipstick and the hair done.
So I feel like I'm seeing things like this can't be real. Caitlin did not tell me that she was inviting said very quiet friend who was already with us, and Michelle was like, "Oh, it's the girl.
It's the girl
from the photo. Is Caitlin kidding me right now? Like, is she kidding me right now?" Of course, I'm not saying that out loud, but is she kidding me right now? And Michelle walked through the revolving door, right?
The Circle in the
Circle in the Square Theater. And
it is college. It is freshman year. I had been out late the night before.
Right.
Somehow looked as good as I looked the next day.
Oh my God.
You know, I was 18. So
she was like, "Oh, I was out so late last night," and I was like, "I'm terrified. How do I get out of here?"
So, as I enter, I see, of course, Caitlin and her friend, and I notice there's just like a girl sitting there. Now, I'm not sure where this girl belongs,
and neither did that girl.
But I will say I noticed the girl. So I'm talking to Caitlin and her friend, you know, like, oh my God, college, it was like such a great night, like all these hot guys, blah, 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 blah. Now,
I'm like,
I'm talking. Now I'm talking directly in front of me and to the right of me, and this girl is to the left. And so as I'm talking, this is something Lisa does to this day. If you all know Lisa, she like finds her moment to be like, "Hi, I'm Lisa. How are you? Tell me about your life." Literally, Lisa has not changed in 20 years. Like, I love this about her, that she'll like find her moment to like conversate. And I'm sure, I hope people comment on this, like how great it is to talk to Lisa. Because you really listen and engage with people and you really care.
The problem is, I am terrified. Like, that awkward moment when you have to like say hello to someone, and I also think that like people are gonna forget about me and like I'm never gonna be introduced, and then it's gonna be awkward that like, oh, I now have to introduce myself. So I always
no one can ever forget about Lisa.
It's like, okay, my confidence is literally like in the tank. Like, it's like tanked. My confidence tanks.
So while I'm talking, I hear, "Hi, I'm Lisa." So chill and casual, which is like, "Hi, I'm Lisa." But I heard, of course, I hear this, and I'm just like, so it's like, I wish I could do this in like slow-mo. I was like, oh. And so like, I look at her and I'm like, oh my God, she's like super cute.
Well, I just want to say, side note, we were sitting on the radiators, which is why she's looking down at me.
Yes. So Lisa's sitting on the radiator, so I look to my left. I'm like, all these things go through my head, and I'm like, wait, I know this girl. Wait, her name's Lisa. Wait, she's really cute. Wait, is she just wearing mascara? Wait, look at that hair. Oh my God, she's so beautiful. Is she really not wearing any makeup? Like, all these things going through my head. And so I reply, probably the dumbest thing ever, Lisa Suisa? Now, taking you back. I don't know if we're getting past the day we met.
Yeah, we're not. Definitely not getting past the day we met.
Part 2 might be like what happened for the rest of February.
Yeah. It was a big day.
It was a big day. It changed the trajectory of our lives as we know it.
Big day.
So I say Lisa Suisa. Now I'm going to bring you back. It's 2001. We are theater nerds to the umpteenth. Okay? We are talking the days of the AOL theater chat. Where are all my P slates and my DeLife cafes and my rockin' urns?
My Josie B ways.
Where is my musical
Juju
master?
Evans.
Where is my Katie Bell? Because we was all up in that theater chat.
But did you mention DeLife Cafe?
I totally mentioned
Okay, I got nervous.
How could we forget DeLife Cafe Sammy? So I knew Suisa as Suisa, and this was Suisa. Now, in my mind, I had had conversations with Suisa, and she was a blonde bitch from Long Island. But I met Suisa, who was not blonde nor a bitch, and I was like mind blown. Lisa Suisa, you are not what I expected. I knew there was this group from Limbrook, and I just knew of them, but we never were just super close. But we just like I said, we had all had our theater chats. So I knew that Suisa was tight with Caitlin as well as Sammy. Suisa was the vice president of the Kristen Chenoweth fan club, of which Samantha was the president. Forget me not. 20 years ago, this was our life. And I don't think it's changed that much.
Kristen Chenoweth. I mean, you've certainly forgotten us since.
I don't know. I feel like she hasn't. I'm just going to say it. I know Orfe hasn't. Shout out to Orfe.
To Orfe.
Anyway. So I'm like, Lisa Suisa? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, oh my God, I know you. You're adorable. We should be best friends.
No.
I
didn't say that.
That was my mind.
None of that was said out loud. Just Lisa Suisa, and I responded with, yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. That's over with.
She knows who I am.
I'm good to go now. I'm good. I can move on with the rest of my day. There's not much I'm going to need to say. I'll just, take this day as it comes. I'll enjoy myself as I can and just participate wherever I may.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Until Caitlin decides that she wants McDonald's. And Caitlin is like, does anybody else want McDonald's? And my heart is hoping so hard that I can say no and stay behind, and that Michelle will say yes and then go with Caitlin. And that just simply was not the case.
Not interested in McDonald's.
Whatever. You had a long night. I thought maybe you needed to get something to eat. And instead, Caitlin and her other friend, who does not need a name.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Go to McDonald's. And Caitlin leaves me behind.
With me.
With Michelle, alone.
Sitting in these exact positions.
To
this day, this is our photo, selfie. Always right and left.
Yeah. And
Noteworthy moment.
I am literally terrified.
But to Lisa's luck, since I had a late night, I wasn't really up for talking. Now.
Yeah, that made it a lot easier.
If any of you know me really well, you know that I actually do have my moments where I can be quiet and just don't feel like talking a ton. It was one of those moments, but I was excited that this girl was cool and chill and I knew her, but I wasn't I need to learn her life story at this exact moment. I knew there'd be more. Somehow I knew. But I think I made Lisa's life a lot easier when I said, because I know she hadn't seen the show. This is terrible, but I had a bootleg. Sorry. Is this illegal? Am I going to get arrested?
No.
I had a bootleg copy of the show, and I said, do you want to hear the show? And Lisa said, yes, please, and thank you, because that means I don't have to speak to you.
It was burned on a CD.
Mm-hmm.
So she took out her Discman and gave me the headphones.
Mm-hmm.
And even though she did that, which was sort of like a temporary fix to
we
the
still
awkward
talked.
silence, I felt weird just sitting there listening to music and not talking. So the one thing I will do, and I think a lot of people think that it's me being like super friendly and like open and like breaking the ice, which it is. It's also a crutch for me to all of a sudden start interviewing you. So I started interviewing Michelle and asking her literally, so where are you from? You know, what's your favorite no.
Where do you go? You go to Hofstra.
So I try to keep the questions moving because I get very, very self-conscious.
And I think I asked you a few questions in return.
Yeah,
but because I was also tired and not super talkative, I felt by the end of that conversation, I was like, oh shit. Did I ask her anything in return, or did I just answer everything? Which I sometimes find myself having to.
You were definitely still being that, like, badass, confident person that, like, I figured you would be. And I was like, okay, what is taking so long? Is there a line at McDonald's? Like, when is Caitlin coming back?
It feel like a while.
It felt like a while.
But I wasn't freaking out. Lisa
Right,
was.
but I was freaking out.
So by the time they got back, I decided that Lisa was going to be my friend. And so...
And I was like, they're back. I can stop talking to this girl who doesn't want to talk to me.
Oh, no. I did. She was afraid. So in my mind, I'm like, she's adorable. She's fun. I really enjoy her. And so you have to pair up in twos for the tickets, the way the theater is designed. So fearing that I might end up with Caitlin's friend, which is terrible. I don't know why we were so anti-Caitlin.
She was just really quiet.
She was really quiet. And I was like, that's going to be awkward. But I felt comfortable with Lisa right away. So I was like, I'm going to sit with Lisa. So we had to pair into twos.
And I was like, inside I was like, wait a minute. I don't understand. I was supposed to be here with Caitlin. I don't get why I have to sit next to this girl who's like, she's like too much, like for me. Like, was she just trying to make a fool of me? She tried to put me through the ringer. Like, I don't get this. Why is she doing this to me?
And so, backstory for me, I actually, that morning on my walk to the theater, had just felt the release of a crush that I had had for 2 years, at least 2 years.
And so did I. And so did I.
Kismet.
On my way to the theater, I was like, it's time to let go.
I literally had the same thought. I was like, that is not serving you. It's time to let that go. It's not going anywhere. And you need to release that and be open for what's next.
And my thing was never going to go anywhere. And that's in the memoir. So we'll leave it at that.
We will leave it at that.
Yeah.
And so my, I guess, energy was open. And I don't even think I was consciously like, Lisa is now the replacement for that crush. But I did definitely feel like a connection and a comfort level there, right? So I don't know if it was like the receptiveness, the openness that I felt. But yeah, it just for me was like a natural fit.
That was really funny. So she's feeling all comfortable and I'm feeling just utterly terrified for like every single minute that's passing. And then my favorite, right? So after we get the tickets, we're standing around in the lobby and we're talking and it's starting to fill with people. And so Michelle turns to me and she goes, where did you get your jeans? So side note, at the time, I'm very overweight. And now I have to tell...
Not very overweight.
I am very overweight. I'm in what I call fat girl jeans.
I too was
Apologies.
overweight. I mean, we're talking like what, size 18?
Right.
Yeah.
But to me, Michelle was not wearing size 18 jeans. She fit into regular stores. And there I was in my fat girl jeans. And so I was like, you know what? I can't try to hide this because what if I tell her these are from the Gap? And she specifically is like, I've never seen those at the Gap. So.
I don't think I was shopping at the Gap.
Whatever.
Also,
was.
leather jacket, badass look. Don't think I was
I
shopping
don't know.
at the Gap.
That's what went through my mind was just like, don't make up.
She said Lee Bryant, and I said I have the same ones.
Right. So I was like,
It was fine.
Okay.
We also should note, so like Lisa mentioned the Mish photo, and Lisa knew that she had feelings she was like repressing.
Right.
Me, I had always like an open point of view, but I didn't find myself to be choosing, I guess, one or the other. I knew that, I don't know if I knew anything actually. I probably assumed I would end up dating a guy or marrying a guy if I was really going to like give myself a trajectory. But I also knew that I was open to a person and like that I had open feelings for my female friends.
Yeah.
And like I was obsessed with the musical Rent, and like nothing was really going to like close me off from having feelings. And so I wasn't going into it like this is a setup. I like want to date this girl. I was going into it like, who is this girl? And why is she piquing my interest?
And I went into it as a 16-year-old who was too afraid to look
time
up.
We were 18.
Whatever.
Yes.
This is true.
Right.
But I had been so afraid of my sexuality that at the age of 16, I was staring at the chat room names and saw thespian and wasn't sure and didn't want to look in the dictionary to find out if that was actually lesbian.
From the island of Thespos.
Literally. So, like, here I am, like, I don't want to be this, I don't want to be this, I don't want to be this. And she is like, this is fine. If whatever happens, happens. Love is love.
I don't think I thought it through to, like, telling my family, but yes.
Well, the way you looked at life
Yes.
wasn't a matter of labels.
Right.
For me, it was all about labels. It was all about boxes. It was all about, you had to be one thing or another.
Right.
So yeah, that's why there was a lot of
Fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, cut to, we're on the line. We're filing in. We now have our tickets. We know we're going to sit together. We sit down. The show is great. We're having an amazing time.
It's the Rocky Horror Show, and I'm like, wow, this is live and in front of me. This is not even on a television.
Daphne Rubin-Vega is literally like right here being living and loving as Magenta, and like it was fantastic. So the show happens, it's intermission. And so now I'm going to remind you, theater geeks, okay? I had seen the show several times. I had met some of the cast. I now knew this was the moment where you leave a note for the actor who plays the narrator character. What was his name again? I want to say I need to leave a note for Dick. Why do I want to say what was his name?
The actual actor's name?
I have to look it up.
I don't know.
But I referred to him as his name, and I was like, I need to leave a note for him. And so Lisa was like, okay. And she was like, what is happening? So I like wrote the note because I think they addressed it like when we came back from intermission, if you left a note up there. And so Lisa's like, oh, and I'm like, come with me to leave the note. And she was
like, okay. Because also a theater nerd, like
so
big time. I was like big into that.
We filled out, we left the note. Like, I don't even know if we went to the bathroom. We sat back down, we had the show.
So I'm starting to feel more relaxed at this point.
She definitely was, and I could tell. It was funny because, like, I didn't know how much Lisa was freaking out, but there was a moment, and I think it was around intermission when we left the note, that I felt her, like, settle in more.
I was like, okay, I can relate to this. Like, this I can do. Like, she's doing this theater nerd thingy. Like, I can do this. I can get this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did it, and then the show ended.
Yeah. And I was like, awesome! This is almost over!
So we walked out together, obviously, all of us, and we were going to go our separate ways because I now had to meet another friend in the village to see the famous, at the time, still famous probably to this day, drag queen Hedda Lettuce.
Yeah, so I was just gonna like casually gonna go downtown to, I'm sorry, I can't join you for dinner. I'm just like gonna casually attend a drag show. And for me, I was like, whoa, that's like a lot, like a drag show. This girl knows. See, she's just what I thought she was, just too cool for me.
So I say, you go to Nassau, I go to Hofstra, we should get together. And I genuinely mean it. And this is funny, this came up recently. I said to Lisa, I never say to someone that we should do something if I don't mean it.
Right. And at the time, because I didn't know Michelle, I was like, oh, this is like that cool girl moment where they're like, we should really hang out. I'll call you. And then they never call. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, she's definitely just saying this. I'm in the clear. I can't wait to get to Planet Hollywood and order in quesadilla and like move on with my life. Right?
So I go down to see the show. And like, I don't know if I'm like consciously thinking, but like, I'm like, huh, that girl. Yes. She goes to Nassau. I go to Hofstra. We should get together. So
I'm like, quesadilla.
I'm on the train later that night on the way home, and I don't remember. I'm able to keep that 100%. That's not being edited. Also, I need a refill.
Yeah.
Trick or treat. Can they like literally see the Halloween bottle?
I hope so.
Boo.
I'm gonna hold it up.
Thank you. Also, it's like Tuesday at 10:30 and we haven't had dinner, so
Yeah.
just being completely honest right now. Trick or treat. Boo. So, I don't remember if Caitlin called me or I called her. But we're on the phone. I'm on the train on the way home. And I say to Caitlin, what's the deal with Lisa? I was like, and she was like, oh no. Now, Caitlin knows me very well. She was my best friend. She had lived through 2 years of the crush firsthand on our other friend. So she knew exactly what my inquisitiveness was about Lisa before maybe I even knew it. And poor Caitlin lived through hell with the 2 years of the crush. So, Sorry, Caitlin. But I said, Lisa, what's her deal? And she was like, oh, Michelle. And I was like, literally, she's like the coolest, like most adorable, most naturally beautiful girl I've ever seen. And I was like, she literally only had mascara on. Caitlin, she's gorgeous. And she was like, number one, I know. Number two, Michelle, please don't do this to me. Were her exact words. She was like, you're my best friend, and Lisa's one of my closest friends. I can't go through this again. Please don't do this to me. And I was like, what do you even mean? It's fine. It's all fine. I'll email her this week. And poor Caitlin.
Caitlin was one of my closest friends. Caitlin was probably the only person who really knew everything that was going on.
Same.
In high school.
It's so weird that we had the
with
same
that
best
other
friend.
person.
Yeah.
And I have no idea where I would be without Caitlin.
I think Caitlin shared with you what she was going through with me and a little bit of the other crush.
A bit. Yeah. Not a lot. Because she definitely wanted me to hang out with you guys. So I think she held back a little bit.
We will tell you more about Caitlin. She was at our wedding. But we did live together second year of college, all of us.
We'll get there.
But we will get there. But get off the phone with Caitlin. Go to my dorm room. Oh, the days of dorm rooms. I miss college. Literally, I think I immediately logged on to my computer. Was it that night or maybe it was the next day?
It was the next day.
It was the next day.
It wasn't that immediate.
I was that desperate.
No, it was like definitely like totally enjoying like the fact that I was home and there was no more cool girl and I had gotten through it and it was time for me to just like, you know.
So I emailed her the next day and
I was like, what?
Because I, of course, knew her screen name. So I knew her email. And so I was like, it was so great to meet you. Like, we shop at the same places. Like, we both love Broadway.
Okay.
You go to Nassau, I go to Hofstra. I was like, we should do something.
Okay.
And then I think, funny enough, I asked her what she was doing for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And I actually got, like, kind of jealous.
I know.
Which is so weird.
You told me that.
Years later.
Years later.
Weeks later, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Who even knows?
Yeah, Joey, my really good friend Joey had asked me to go to dinner for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And I just wore like that
purple turtleneck.
When Michelle and I met, I was wearing a turtleneck. And so for Valentine's Day, I wore a lavender turtleneck. It's like a thing.
Purple turtleneck.
Purple turtleneck, yeah.
So that is the story, probably 20 minutes long, of the day we met. When we film part 2, we will tell you what happened the rest of those weeks. Literally weeks. As
just
our
weeks.
Love blossomed. Oh my god, I kind of loved this. This was so fun.
I feel like I looked like a crazy person.
No, you look amazing, and literally still to this day, the most naturally gorgeous girl, and I'm so lucky you're mine.
So my gorgeous, cool girl, too cool for me.
Mwah. Thank you so much for joining us for the Story of Us Part 1. We can't wait to share Part 2 and however many thousand parts it ends up being, because 20 years is a lot to cover.
20 years is a lot.
Thanks for joining us.